Okay, Tom, tip number 3, please.
Tip number 3, this is a really simple one, but again, it kind of feeds into what I've said before, but it's worth teasing out. Many children will exist in an environment where there'll be an unfamiliar teacher, a cover teacher, a supply teacher, an occasional teacher, a cover supervisor, an administrator. The janitor possibly might be coming in to deliver a lesson. Put it this way, very frequently people will come in and you won't know who they are, or you won't have a very strong relationship with them. So here's my top tip number 3. Teach students how to behave in a supply or cover lesson. Teach them what to do before that lesson exists or happens. And it's such a powerful tip. I mean, cover teachers will sing your praises in Valhalla for doing this. So essentially what you do, you say to students, right, I am here right now, but tomorrow I will not be here. So here's how I expect you to behave when I'm not here. Now, and again, instead of just saying, I want you to behave, tell them exactly what you want them to do. So for example, you might say, there's work, I'm going to set some work and it's part of our syllabus and it's important. And you need to have done this, because if you don't do this, then you'll have to come behind. You'll have to come back after school and do it some other time. So it'll be an inconvenience to them. So first of all, motivate them by saying, this matters, so do it because it's good. And then this matters because if you don't do it, you'll be in trouble. Really make that expectation. Really ramp up the value of who's coming in, and then say, here's exactly what you need to do. I want you to take your normal seats. I will give a seating plan to the supply teacher. Stick it on the wall. Give it to a kid and say, give this to the supply teacher. So assign kids roles. So I want you to give the supply teacher the seating plan. I want you to give them the cover work. I want you to give them, to hand out the books, hand out the exercise books, hand out the equipment, hand out the pens, the pencils, the tabards, and the trainers and so on. And the point is this, give children expected roles and hold them accountable for those roles. I mean, if you like, make one of the kids your snitch or something like that. Say, you're my grass. Don't do that. But you know what I mean. But teach the kids, this is what I expect you to do, and what you will expect them to have achieved, and so on. Otherwise, you walk into situations where you get back 25 scrappy bits of paper and 3 people's books, and 2 people will have done the work, and it's the kids you would expect to have done the work. Yeah. And some kids will have just drawn, caricatures of you and stuff like that, and it's just this very unsatisfying experience. And the kids know that you don't care. The kids know you're not going to follow up. The kids know that the expectations are do as you please. That shall be the whole of the law, and it shouldn't be that. So teach them what to do in a supply lesson, and let the supply teacher know that's going to happen. Now, obviously, this anticipates a situation where you know that you're going to be away and you've got time to prep and plan for it. Obviously, this isn't exactly the same as how you would cope with, for example, an emergency situation where you were called away on the spot or you phoned in sick and so on. But there should still be a pre-taught ritual of, if I'm away, this is what happens. And you can do that at the start of the year, when you're there, and embed that and remind them of it from time to time. And if they don't do it, crucially, hold them to account for their actions. So if work's not done, say, right, you need to come behind after school and do it. And kids do the maths, boom, of that very, very quickly and work out, maybe I should just do it in the class. But supply teachers love it when you do this kind of thing. And in lots of schools, supply teaching can be, as I said, can be 10% of the day. On average, I think it is about 10% of the day, across primary and secondary. And in some schools, particularly schools through COVID, bubbles collapsing and so on, this has been a substantial part of their school day. So teach them what to do in a cover lesson.
I love this, Tom. Love it. One point and then one follow-up question to this. I guess the point remains the same that we spoke about in tip 2, that, again, this has got to be practiced, rehearsed, retrieved, and so on. So it's not just something we say to the kids once, but it sticks. But secondly, in terms of communicating this with the supply teacher, again, this is a mistake I've made in the past where the only info the supply teacher gets is the work that's to be completed, and then they're walking into the unknown. Would you advise kind of stating down for the supply teacher which kids are doing which roles and so on, so they go in with those expectations, or is it enough just to tell the kids?
No, I would consolidate that as much as possible, because normally when the supply teacher comes into school, they are given, if they're lucky, they'll be given the work, if they're lucky. Yeah. Now, on that note which is given to them, there should be an indication that, look for these 5 children and these children will be able to assist you. And if they don't, leave some feedback. And also, finally, there should be some kind of sense of where to leave feedback. Because a lot of supply teachers know full well that a lot of teachers will treat supply work as busy work. And the kids know it too. Yeah. You get to raise the importance of all that by creating a system that says this still matters. And to me, one of the best ways I can assess a school's cultural integrity, the strength of its behaviour culture, is if I can walk into a supply lesson as an unfamiliar observer And if I can't tell it's a supply lesson, if I can't tell it's a cover lesson, then that's when I know that the school system is running smoothly. And incidentally, what this tells me is that the kids aren't just behaving because they have a relationship with the teacher. They have a relationship with the school community and their own learning.
Lovely.